Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed your morning plenary and breakout sessions. We're calling this session to order. This session is Can We Build a Movement? Features organizations that are a part of the Braver Network, the BA initiative to bring together a diverse group of organizations to build a movement for civic renewal.
I absolutely love that because my organization, ILG, just joined the Braver Network, and we are very excited. Not just, we've been involved for a while, but we're formal, we're official, and we're happy to be a part of it. And this is kind of that continuum that we've been talking about, right? Building this movement. So what's really special and why we were waiting a little bit of time to give everybody a chance to come back from lunch is that this session is actually a skit. And so we are going to all, imagine if you will, we're going to metaphorically go to Walker's Barbershop, which is in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, and is actually a place and part of Braver Network. And what we're here to witness is going to be a barbershop conversation between various Braver Network partners, and we're all in it. So without further ado, we're going to go to Walker's Barbershop. Join us there. And to do that, we'll get started.
Here we go.
Lance, how's it going?
Hey, David, welcome to Walker's Barbershop, man.
Well, I'll have the usual today.
We'll do the usual. So, what's been happening? What's big in your life?
Well, I've been, I work at Braver Angels, and the thing we've been thinking about is one organization alone can't do it. A movement can. And so I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about what it takes to build a movement, and we're starting this thing called Braver Network. It's bringing together a diverse spectrum of organizations from across the political spectrum, from strong left to strong right to strong center, and from all over the country. And, we think that there's really, I guess, three things that I think are going to be important for this. First, I think it's got to be, this movement is for anybody who loves our country and wants to be part of the solution. Lance, we started Braver Angels in a church in late 2016. And the organization has taken off a lot. And at the same time, there was a whole bridge building movement taken off that we're a part of. But we think that the next step here is that we need more than organizations that have a specific interest in bridge building. We want organizations that may not have their specific mission be to address polarization, like your barbershop, for instance, but care about what's happening in the country and want to be part of the solution. So I think it needs to be for anybody in the country who loves our country and wants to be part of the solution. The second thing I guess I would say is, it needs to be about its movement is as big as America and as small as your barbershop, Lance. And what I mean by that is everyone from the Black Lives Matter people to the Tea Party and strong conservative people to the strong center. It's got to be as big as America. And also, big national organizations, but also organizations as small as your barbershop here. Churches, congregations, civic clubs. And so I think that's important. And then I guess the last thing I'll say is that, it takes bravery to do this. To do the work hand in hand with organizations whom you might have differing missions when it comes to an issue, but you're united around the cause of coming together to help ensure a strong civic fabric. That takes courage. But, who am I talking to? That's basically what your barbershop is about, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because my barbershop is 40% black, 40% white, and 20% other. And at any given moment, I have a wide swath of what America really looks like in this space. And we're having conversations and dialogue.
And is that true politically as well?
And it's true politically. As a matter of fact, the poster that I have back here is a huge representation as to what Walker's Barbershop is. It's not just black dots. That's actually photos of hair. I've taken pictures of hair of all of my customers for the past 5 years, and I've swept it in because it tells a story. That hair tells a story. So much so that an older white gentleman and a young black kid, a redhead, and whenever the picture comes together, you can see the diversity
I like
that
it.
literally takes place in this barbershop.
That's profound.
And I make it a point to have dialogue that a lot of people probably don't want to have.
So wait a minute. So you're saying if I come into this barbershop and I voted for Trump and I start talking about politics a little bit, you're not going to shut that down?
I will not shut it down. I will give you a cut. If you get out of line, I might cut you.
Now, what happens if it's a strong progressive walks in while we're talking politics?
Well, I make it a point to moderate the conversation. Everything's on the table for discussion, whether it's sex, politics, religion, sports. We can always have a conversation as long as we do it in a family-friendly way and it's respectful of one another's opinions. I make it a point to do that.
And you see this is central to what your barbershop is.
Central. This is my everyday life. I do this literally every day.
A hub for civil discourse.
Hub for civil discourse.
A place where Americans from all walks of life come in and talk to each other.
100%.
And get their cuts.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Now, Lance, did I hear that Gangsta Grass is coming by a little bit later?
Oh, yeah, those are my boys. Yeah, they're swinging through.
I love those guys. Man, I tell you what.
They'll be swinging through.
Gangsta Grass? I want to join Gangsta Grass.
Yeah. So, Luke, what's going on, bro?
I just heard Gangsta Grass is coming through. You know, John Wood told me that I'm kind of a rapper, too. And they do great things. I'd love to join them someday. And if they're going to be here, I can go with them here.
We'll see.
Believe me, I can do it.
We'll see.
I'll write you something.
All right.
You write me something.
Well, thanks for the cut, Lance. And but in conclusion, I think that to the question of whether we can build a movement, I think it's possible. I think we can bring together people as far left as Black Lives Matter and as far right as county Republican parties and so forth. I think it's possible. Thanks for the cut, Lance.
Man, Mr. Bill.
How's it going, buddy?
Going all right. I cannot complain.
You hear that kind of flaky stuff that D-Lap was just talking about there? So, as you know, I am a college professor. And I study social movements. And this is not a social movement. So I just wanted to let everybody know that, So, but I'm willing to listen, not be changed, but I'm willing to listen.
Well, I don't know. I do have a friend of mine coming by here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You'd be interested in meeting him.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll introduce you to him when he gets here.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have a lot to cut, so go easy there.
You should be arriving any time here. You're gonna find out. Yo, Hawk! What's going on, Hawk? Big Hawk. Welcome to Walker's Barbershop.
What's
going
on
with you, man? What's going on?
I'm hanging in there, man. Everything's okay. Not complaining. Doing a lot of great work with Braver Angels. I kind of rolling with them because I operate from a space of truth, a sort of divine truth that comes from God and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, right? And I put that above any Democratic Party, any Republican Party, and anything in between. So I search for truth, which means I'm not listening to Fox News or CNN. I'm not listening to the Journal of the Times. I'm doing the research myself. I'm paying attention to the scholars on both sides, and I'm seeing where people are right and wrong. Also, still starting trouble. You remember Donald Trump accused me of treason, sedition, insurrection. A few other people like the NYPD accused me of being a domestic terrorist. But I have a school full of toddlers and preschoolers. How bad can I be? I fed 70,000 people. I mean, my sisters, my best friend, my mother's like our chief advisor. How bad are we? We're just a group of people trying to do what's right. And what I like about Braver Angels is they put me in front of people so I can let them know my truth. The truth that comes, I guess, from the Bible, right? There's a reason why justice is mentioned 25 times in the Bible. There's a reason why Jesus called out hypocrites 8 times in Matthew, right? And that's because he wants us to be true to him. God wants us to be true to each other. God says, help your neighbor, help the widow. It doesn't say her husband was a crackhead who deserved to be shot and killed by the police. It doesn't say shut off the border. It says share your wealth, not hoard your wealth. It says uphold what's right and what's holy. It doesn't say uphold your political party. It says do the right thing. And what does the right thing look like to black people? Reparations.
You're looking at me?
Yeah, I'm looking at you. I heard you were one of the, grand wizards, leaders of the local Republican Party. So,
That wasn't in the rehearsal.
I felt it, so I went with it.
Yeah, you felt it.
I felt it. I went with it.
Stop feeling it. Stop feeling it, Hawk.
So here we go. Reparations is something we hold near and dear. When I was here yesterday, I heard people snickering at the conversation. You can't tell me, you have no idea how offensive that was. It wasn't a joke when Japanese people got it. It wasn't a joke when Jewish people got it. So it shouldn't be a joke when black people fight for it and ask for it here in America.
Right on. So Hawk, you've got some really strong convictions here, and you're a part of this movement.
Right on.
That's pretty cool.
Happy to be here.
That's pretty cool.
Braver Angels movement.
Braver Angels movement.
So look, if we've got Hawk, someone as strong, a leftist as him, that's a start. I've got to think it is possible.
Yeah, but you're not going to get a Republican come within 6 miles of what he said, right? And so you can't build a movement around leftist Black Lives Matter. He's wonderful, but that's not how you build a...
What's up?
Yo,
Emmanuel!
I got to get it done, man. I got to get the hair in.
Barbershop, bro.
How you doing, man? How's everybody doing? What's up going on, man? What you doing, man? You good? What in the world?
I'm a rapper. What's going on, brother?
You're a rapper. Hey there, how's it going? I haven't seen you around here.
Yeah. You're not a Republican.
Yeah, actually, I am.
You are.
No, I'm not a Republican. In Durham County, North Carolina, I actually am the Republican. I don't know how, but I was elected a couple times to serve as the chairman of the Durham County Republican Party. And then 2 years ago, I don't know how this happened either, but I was actually elected to be the 4th Congressional District Chair of the Republican Party. So I actually sit on the Central Committee of the NCGOP. And so I'm one of the few blacks, but there actually are other blacks within the Central Committee that work on policies, not just policies to try to make the Republican Party better. So you got to realize is that I wasn't born a Democrat, I wasn't born a Republican when I was 18 years old and I went to vote. They say, what would you like to register as? And as any fair-minded black kid, I said, I'll be a Democrat. And it wasn't until probably about, 3-4 years later, I started doing some research and read about, Booker T. Washington and Frederick Douglass and some of these other people. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I grew up in church and I'm thinking, I can't I can't worship and listen to something on Sunday, but then vote contrary to that on Tuesday on election. And so it was a metamorphosis for me. It was a difficult one because, truth be told, you guys, my family's not like this. My mom and my dad, my brother and my sisters, just about everyone else I know in my family do not share the same political persuasions. Now they share the same values, but it doesn't manifest for them in terms of.
So, Emmanuel, you're the chair of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
So, and you're interested in being a part of a movement with people from across the political spectrum?
Yeah, and here's the reason why. Because, see, in Durham County, we represent only 14% of the electorate, Republicans do. It's incredibly minor. And so what happens is that our voices are many times squelched. There's very few times that when we're talking about political issues and a topic that we're able to truly be able to breathe out our entire thoughts. And so when we come to Braver Angels, what we find is that it's an oasis of ideas. People are able to come and truly be able to, without any provocation, be able to communicate their ideas all the way through and know that they're not going to be interrupted, know that they're going to be respected, know that they're going to still be loved, and know that they're still not going to be demonized, even if they share a different opinion. And so when I see Braver Angels, I see we need this, not just in Durham County, not just in North Carolina, but we have to have this in our country. Are you cutting his hair or what?
You're next. I'll get to you.
All right. I mean, you must be getting paid by the hour.
Yeah. And I'm union.
Yeah, oh, okay. So that was really the reason why. And I said, so this is important. And when I found this, I said, regardless of where it is, if it's in St. Louis in 2019, or if it's in Pennsylvania in 2023, I have to come. And not only do I have to come, I have to go beyond that. And so now I'm starting to bring delegations. So including myself, there's 7 other individuals from Durham County, from the Durham County Republican Party and the cohorts there here.
In this barbershop?
Well,
around here.
Around here.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. I'm telling you. Okay, so
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So can we build a movement? We've got Hawk and the GOP. I mean, that's
in
a
the
good
same
start.
room, man. Look at that.
That's
What do you
a
think?
good start.
Yeah.
You know, hey Lance, I think I got a verse on this.
Uh-oh.
I think I got a verse for
Oh
you.
boy.
Okay.
There's
Let's
a
have
lot of people plotting in the movement today. Just take a look at my friends. Whatever the haters say, GOP to the DNC, BLM
Look,
to the
look,
MAGA,
look,
Killer
look.
Angels. It's dope.
Gangsta Grass will be here shortly. Just relax.
Okay.
Just
I'll
relax.
keep working on it.
Relax. You keep working
Hey,
on
thanks
that.
for believing in me.
You keep working.
Keep working slowly.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it was an impressive start. Okay, those are pretty powerful guys there. But without young people, all social movements start with young people. And no offense to anybody, but there's a lot of gray hairs around. And so without young people,
He doesn't even have any hair.
this is my time. Okay, you understand? Where was I? Anyway, I don't see, unless there's a whole lot more, and I don't see them really so far around here, young people. It's not going to happen without young people.
Yo, what's up?
Yo.
What's going on?
Harley, Manu.
We're here to hang out.
Welcome to Walker's Barbershop.
I heard Gangsta Grass is going to be here. We came by.
Oh, yeah,
Check it out.
That's my people.
Mr. Walker, this is an odd barbershop. This is an odd bar. What's going on in Philadelphia?
Some people say, that's what some people say, but
Carly, what you got?
what's going on big in your life?
Yeah. So, I've been doing a lot of work with young people in recovery lately. Don't know if you guys have heard of them, but we just teamed up with Braver Angels, and we're really excited. We've been doing bridge building work for a long time now, advocating for people who are maybe in their addiction or are trying to be in recovery, that kind of thing. We want to make sure that people have all the resources they need to survive. So we've been willing to work across party lines and advocate for everything they need.
This is interesting. The first time I ever heard the word bridge building, Mr. Walker, I was like, bridges. The first time we ever created a bridge club, they were like, the civic architecture majors showed up. They're like, what bridges are you working on? What bridges are you working on? We're like, tunnels. What's interesting from the young people's context is, first of all, as you say, Bill said many times, I obviously don't represent all young people. Obviously, I don't represent all young people. But what's interesting is somebody my age, Carly, as we talk, I was born around 9/11. Went to middle school during the Great Recession. Graduated high school in 2016 during the Trump election. Then graduated in 2020 from college during the Capitol riots. Not a great sample size of boundless optimism and progress. So the question is like, how does any of this shit actually work? How does this solve our problems? How does bridging and listening to each other tackle our issues? That's what we're ready to hear. So that's what we've got. That's what we've got. We want to hear how this solves the problems of tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
I got something on that.
Also,
I got
what is
something
this
on
guy?
that.
This guy.
I'm a rapper.
You're a rapper? Man, I gotta go back to
World's
Boston.
anew, so must we think anew. We millennials and Zoomers and some younger kids too. Our delusions of grandeur bond us all as a crew. So we're here to show America the things we can do.
Luke,
Yeah.
that's a little lukewarm.
I like that. I got a name.
Keep on working on it.
I got bars too.
I'll keep
But,
working.
all right,
Okay,
so
you
listen.
You keep working on that.
So going back to this question, can we build a movement? So let's keep track here. We got Hawk and the GOP, and we got the Young. I mean, we're well on our way.
Did that young man just say shit?
Disrespectful to their elders.
Oh, man. Okay, I just want to clarify. It's a clarifying question.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, we have to accept young people. I was that way once. Recovered. But the thing is that we're talking about a movement. I think of the civil rights movement. I think of like really substantial. Everybody says movement. It's easy to. The Philly cheeseburgers movement or something, but the civil rights movement. I mean, that's the inspiration. But they're all dead.
In that case, I'd like to meet John.
To freedom land, I'm on my way, great God, I'm on my way.
Welcome to Walker's Barbershop, John and Harry.
Brother Lance. How you doing, man?
Great.
Professor Bill,
Yeah,
I don't feel dead. I feel like things are just getting started.
just getting started. Okay.
I'm going to get on this side of that.
And besides, but you do have a point about knowing the civil rights movement.
Man, well, speaking of which, Brother Lance, we're here to get our hair cut. And, I'm looking forward to taking a little off the top. Nobody knows how Harry gets his hair cut because Professor Harry never takes his hat off. So, that mystery may get revealed. But speaking of which, we walked into a real interesting conversation here. And I'd like to tell y'all that Professor Harry here, he knows a thing or two about social movements.
You want me to say something?
I think you should.
Again, exquisitely well rehearsed.
So I worked as a field secretary for Dr. Martin Luther King across the South. And I should say, Lance, we met in beauty parlors and barbershops all over the South.
Amen.
They were a foundation of the movement, what I call free spaces. And there we saw a people's courage and determination and spirit grow. And we see something like that here.
So how did you know Dr. King?
My dad had been manager of the Red Cross in Atlanta and got involved in school desegregation in the late 50s. Got to know Dr. King. He was the first white to go on staff of the SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference. And I had met him before, but I heard King practice I Have a Dream sleeping on my father's floor in a sleeping bag the night before he gave it. And then he assigned me to organize across the South.
So for any overly educated, highfalutin cynics who may happen to be in earshot.
Shots fired.
I notice you're turning to the comics, Bill.
Tell us a little bit, first of all, about just what made the civil rights movement, what made the nonviolent movement special? What gave it its character?
Yeah, there's some misconceptions about nonviolence. It's seen as disobedience or tactic or protest, or it's seen as impossible pacifism. It was neither. It was practical. It was basically public love. Dr. King would say, I believe that every human being is sacred in the image of God, and we have to learn the disciplines and the practices to make that real.
And was there space for non-believers in the movement?
There was
Did you
space
have to be
for
religious?
people of every background. Certainly, many Jewish people were in the movement. Muslim people were in the movement. There was great respect for the Indian traditions of Hindu and Jain religion. And there were many people who were not in religious or faith traditions, but who did believe in the inviolable dignity and worth of every human being.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I guess the key question is, for somebody who was on the front lines of the civil rights movement, for somebody who knew Dr. King, for somebody who worked in the citizenship schools, who was in the barbershops, who was in the community institutions where this social change was nurtured and birthed and built, what does that have to do with Braver Angels?
Well, let me just say, it took a while. It wasn't an instant thing. Nonviolence, people wrestled with. I mean, loving your enemies, if you were African American in the South, that was no easy task. You had to deal with histories of dehumanization and prejudice and brutality. So it was a remarkable thing to see, and Rosa Parks reflected on that and said, it took me a long time to really understand nonviolence as a way of life that you have to live and believe and see the good in people who you saw were your enemies. But it was a movement that also trained people in citizenship skills and organizing skills. Dr. King, at the end of his life, used to talk about love without power is sentimental and anemic, while power without love is brutal and cruel. And he said, the great crisis of our world is we've separated love from power, and we have to put them back together.
Amen. So maybe, y'all, part of what this movement is bringing love and power together so that the power of love can actually prevail.
I think that's a good way to say it.
Not bad, huh? I learned a thing or two from the man who knows a thing or two.
I think that's a good way to say it. Let me just say that the March on Washington people remember is King's great speech, I Have a Dream, a vision of America that could speak across partisan and other divides. But it was also a march of everyday citizens who developed a sense of their own citizenship. The march notes had a phrase that I saw embodied as a little 18-year-old. I was amazed. I'd never seen anything like this. Hundreds of thousands of people taking to heart this message. In a neighborhood dispute, there may be stunts, rough words, and hot insults. But when a people speaks to the government, the action and the dialogue need to reflect the deep worth of that people and the responsibility of that government. And people rose to that occasion, and it inspired not only America, but the world.
So the impossible is possible.
Impossible is possible.
There you go. All right. Well, let's not let any fancy pants professors, present company excluded.
I saw them get changed too in the movement.
Let's not let the haters get us down.
No,
I say. All right. Well, we're gonna sit down, wait to get our hair because this line is getting long.
Let's. I got a thing. I got a thing.
Luke.
All rhymers to the old timers who knew Kennedy's, got a cabal of reconstructed Nixon era OGs. YFs to the SDS to the SCLCs, bringing back the crew who knew to do the 1960s.
You're getting there. You're getting there. You're getting there.
That'll be it.
I say sit down. Sit down.
Hey, Luke, you're a credit to your race, man.
I'm Asian too.
All right. So let's see here. Can we build a movement? We got Hawk and the GOP, we got the youngs, and we got the old. What do you say, Professor Bill?
It's getting hard up here. However, I mean, realistically, you have to have institutions. You have to have local governments. You have to have religious communities, and they are overwhelmed right now. And that's what I'd have to see in order for this movement. Institutions, not just people who talk to each other.
Jeannie, Erica, welcome to Walker's Barbershop.
I wasn't
How's it
finished.
going?
Oh, never mind.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. You've got the razor, man.
What is this?
So what's going on? What's big going on in your life?
I'll tell you, I'm really busy. I joined St. Andrew's Episcopal Church, and a couple years ago, our rector heard about Braver Angels, and he really wanted our church to get involved in that. So he asked for 4 volunteers to be part of a leadership team, and he had to settle for 6 because so many of us really wanted to engage in this. We really feel that we are called from our faith perspective to be involved. We believe that we are called to be reconcilers. And that just so resonates with the message of Braver Angels. So we've been really active. We've had several events. 2 of us are trained as moderators, one's an organizer, and we've had 6 events. We started just within our own parish, and then we spread that to the community. And there's such an eagerness for people to be involved. They feel like they have the will to be reconcilers for the country, but they didn't have a way. They feel like Braver Angels has given us a way to do that. So last event we had was for local politicians, and then we've been asked to do another one into the summer for a legislator that heard about Braver Angels and now wants that to come to his community. And it really kind of just resonates, I think, with people in churches that really with any faith background, we're all, if you boil it all down to what are really people talking about in religion, it's love thy neighbor. And it sounds like that's what Braver Angels is calling us to do too. It's just finding our own vernacular with our own church backgrounds to figure out how that fits. And then if you think about what churches and faith communities provide, the structure and long history and traditions of people working together, solving problems, having a reason and meaning and purpose. And people in churches don't always agree, but we weren't called to agree with each other. We were called to love one another. In fact, commanded to do so.
Great point. How about you, Erica?
Well, I just came in here to see what all this is about because I have heard about this barbershop, but I was not expecting this kind of crazy. And why are you so grumpy? I could hear you from out the door.
I blame my parents.
Can't we all? Can't we all? Yes, there's trauma there. But I will say, I heard a little coming on the way in, and I really love what Jeannie said because there is a lot to be said for churches and organizations that are religious to jump into this space. But my organization is nonprofit. We're nonpartisan, and most people are praying only literally for a break because they are tired. They are not religious at all. I work with local governments. So think about cities, think about counties, think about the mayors, the council members, right? They ran for office so they could make a difference, be public servants. And now they're kind of thinking they made a bad choice because of this. There's a lot of polarization. So I'm here to see what's working. And apparently this kind of neighborhood environment, this kind of grassroots activity is really helping. And so I want to bring those solutions to my people. So.
All right, so let's summarize.
Yeah.
We've got
David.
Hawk and the GOP, the young and the old, the congregation in the city.
Did you say, let's summarize? In a barbershop?
In a barbershop.
And then when you were sitting up here, you said, in conclusion. I bet that's never happened before.
No, not in my space.
Not in your space.
No, sir.
No space. So I've enjoyed all these people you bring here and so on. But they're the kind of the overeducated. I mean, Hawk, where are you, man? You got a law degree, don't you? Right? Yeah. Without working class folks who make the country run, granted, I'm in the chattering class. I make my living by talking. Okay. And so without working class folks, it's not really movement. And I don't see that happening. I don't see it happening.
Luke, do you have anything to say?
I got nothing yet, actually.
Oh, well, Corey, what's going on? Welcome to Walker's Barbershop.
Hey.
Come on in.
How are you, my friend?
What are you working on? What's
Well,
big?
you know what? You got quite a crowd working today. Every time I walk in here, it's like seeing a picture of my life.
I'm in the
It's
money.
beautiful. You know, it's interesting. I started off a very poor kid in the Midwest, bouncing from town to town with my folks looking for work. Not me looking for work until I was about 10. Then it was time.
You were slacking off before then.
I was, yeah. I was just having to work around the house to earn my keep at that point. I just started paying bills after 10. But, you know, it's interesting because as a poor kid from the Midwest, you really don't have a voice. There's not a lot going on, especially in the late 70s, early 80s. And you never really figure out if there's anything else out there in the world because there's nothing to see. I mean, it's just all the same, right? Most people just working to get by, check to check, day to day. And then as I got older and I worked and I learned the value of work and I learned the value of things that if I wanted them, I had to work to get them, but I still didn't have a voice. So as I got older, I decided to make a voice. I started talking to people, mostly in bars, mostly in the neighborhoods, try to get out there and meet as many people as possible. And I did learn that there was a certain subsect of the populations. You have the haves and the have-nots. I think you know which one you fit into, right?
Let's not get personal here.
No, just the reality is this. I made my voice. I started a podcast. And it's not a big podcast, but it's one that a kid from the Midwest that had nothing growing up is now listened to on several continents every week. And I use that for mindset and depolarization. So we have a responsibility to everybody in this room, and everybody around us to have the best mindset possible because smiles and bad moods are contagious. You got to make the right choice.
All right. How about you, Corey? What's going on?
Well, first of all, this is my first time in your lovely establishment here. You got a beautiful crowd going, so I love that. But a lot of my work lately, unfortunately, I lost my job in March, so I've been focusing a lot of my energy on Braver Angels, specifically in the We the People's Project. It is amazing. It has taught me a lot, fulfilled me a lot, but my actual work history extends way back to when I was 15 years old. I'm 37 now, so I'm showing my age a bit. But I started like low man on totem pole, started at McDonald's as a first job. And I know a lot of people will know what that's like. And I've moved, fast forward a few years, got married, had kids. I most recently worked as a health unit coordinator for Cincinnati Children's Hospital, because I'm from Ohio. And that has taught me a lot. And especially with that, combined with being in Braver Angels as an organization, has taught me that the working class voice means more than a lot of people think it does. And we need voices from people like me, people like everyone in here, to show that we can start a movement, make it hold, and then change people's minds. Because if the working class people of America can show our voice, which I believe we are the true voice of America, and we represent everybody, I believe that we've built this thing from the ground up, and now it's just time to keep going. I believe the working class can do that.
All right. Hey, Lance, real last war dialectic. I got this. In the herd, I see masters of the universe, leaders of the free world, working people do the dirt. City folk, country folk, people of the burbs, solidarity for nation herd will have the last word.
All right, so
you still need some more work.
It's getting a little better.
One more, give me one more.
Keep working.
Getting a little better. All right, so I'm just sitting here observing everything. We got
In summary,
Well, you've got a full house here in your barbershop, Lance. We got Hawk and the GOP. We got the young and the old. We got the congregation and the city. We got the working class and the elites. Not you, Lance. So, I mean, it's possible.
You're not elite. He's just insulted you.
It's possible. I've got to think it's possible.
Well, there's something called the bastions of political power. Washington legislatures, I think particularly Washington. And it seems to me the civil rights movement managed to influence national public policy. And if we don't have that, then we have a lot of conversation, but we don't have something that changes above. And Braver Angels alone is never going to do that alone. We are really a little organization. And unless we can partner with groups who really have savvy and know-how, and why would, what? Oh, excuse me. Okay.
Oh, Keith, welcome to the barbershop, man.
Oh, man. Good to see you.
What do you got going on? What's going on with Common Sense America?
I'll tell you first, I'm a little surprised at the moment. I mean, Professor Bill here, I think he's got a good point.
Thank you.
We needed to get some love somewhere here today, I think. So, if you, it does seem easier to talk about this stuff than to take concrete action that's going to make a difference. And if we're talking about polarized politics and we can't reach into Congress, then what's the point, really? What have we really done? But man, doesn't Congress just seem like an irredeemable mess of partisanship? I mean, could we really? That's a fair question he's asking. We started asking ourselves that at the National Institute for Civil Discourse about 4.5 years ago. But we also were saying, hey, man, we've got a fire burning, a wildfire that is threatening to burn down American democracy. And if we don't have the courage to go in and get to the fire where it is burning in the institutions where it matters most to American self-government, then what are we really doing? So we started kind of working on that. And, I started feeling like what we had been doing was like we had a hose and a nozzle on it, and we could create a nice fine mist. And if you were standing within the range of our fine mist, it felt pretty good. And we were kind of aiming it at the fire, but we couldn't kid ourselves we were really doing anything to put out the fire. So we decided, could we put a nozzle together that would kind of concentrate our efforts more? And then could we go right up to the fire? Could we go right into Congress and make a difference? And, we weren't sure, but we thought we got to try. So here was the idea. Could we mobilize tens of thousands of Americans in an effort to identify solutions to problems under active consideration in Congress that were wise enough to attract bipartisan grassroots support and then engage Congress with those results? Could we maybe make a difference? Seemed like a tall order. I'm here to tell you, 4.5 years in, we have over 58,000 Americans who have joined that effort, and it looks just like this barbershop. Left, right, and center, working class, right? I'll tell you, Americans are hungry for a different kind of politics, and they're worried about this fire. They're willing to put on the firefighting suits and go work at it. And here's how we've gone about doing it. In raising all of those, we've taken 4 steps together, these 58,000 Americans. So first, we pick one issue under active consideration in Congress that's especially ripe for meaningful action. Second, we as a staff at NICD develop a thorough policy brief where we don't put our finger on our thumb on the scales. We make the strongest argument for and against each proposal being considered in Congress. And then third, each of our members have committed an hour or more per year to reviewing that brief and weighing in. So they indicate whether they support or oppose each of the proposals that are in the brief. And then fourth, we engage Congress with the results. It's kind of surprising to me that we got 58,000 already to join, but what's really surprising is we are 3 for 3 in Congress. In 2020, just by demonstrating where there was broad grassroots support, we helped Congress pass an end to surprise medical billing. In 2021, by demonstrating again the same thing, we helped Congress pass historic investments in physical infrastructure. And last year, our high water mark We played a central role in helping Congress update the Electoral Count Act so that we could fortify peaceful transitions of power for generations to come and not have a repeat of January 6th. In just 3 years, that's what we've done. So here's the answer, Professor Bill. Not only can we build a movement strong enough to take meaningful action and have an impact, we must.
Hey, so Lance, give me what they gave B Rabbit at the end of 8 Mile. Give me a minute and a half. I got it. I got 6 things. I got everybody in the room.
We'll give him a minute. It's a minute 20 now. Yeah.
Drop me a beat. Someone drop me a beat. I got twice as many politician friends as you. Half of them are red, half of them are blue. Maybe you have twice as many DC friends as me, but if you want to get it, there's a thing you gotta be. Back in DC, people want me every day and night. Half are from the left, half are from the right. Ladies cross the aisle, always want to get down, but welcome to the Angels. Let me show you around. There's a lot of people plotting in the movement today. Just take a look at my friends. Whatever all the haters say, GOP to the DNC, BLM to the MAGA, Killer Angels. Who else can put the red next with hippies and squares and tell you all about a country that all of them share, as if the forces of history put all of them there and made them break it down and whip it out in red and blue pairs. As the world's anew, so must we think anew. We millennials and zoomers and some younger kids too, our delusions of grandeur bond us all as a crew. So we're here to show America the things we can do. In a time when you're a teenager to age 39, we're all a bunch of hungry Hamiltons awaiting in line with a thing to prove, a flame to burn, a whole lot of time, and a couple of guys who kind of know how to rhyme. All rhymers to the old timers who knew Kennedy's. Got a cabal of reconstructed Nixon era OGs, YIFs and SDS into the SCLCs, bringing back the crew who knew how to do the 1960s. Real gangsters tell ya, ain't nothing new. 7, we coming for you. With a legacy behind us and some truths that are true. You won't believe the kinds of things that free people can do. People got special knowledge. They get all demanded. They think you stand under them if you don't understand them. They hide behind credentials. They hide behind their class and forget there's drops of knowledge other people gonna hand them. In the herd, I see masters of the universe, leaders of the free world, working people do the dirt. City folk, country folk, people of the burbs, solidarity for nationhood will get the last word. Haters always telling us all we do is talk, as if there's nothing special about doing the red and blue walk. But you got an itch to scratch, then we got a spot for people pushing for their policies around at the top. Every election, we got friends on both sides. We talk and walk and vote and hang along for the ride. And you'll find us talking circles over every divide in the sacred civic action of American pride. Hey, so Lance, if you see Gangsta Grass, let him know. Let him know.
If I see Gangsta Grass.
Yo. Big Luke got bars. See, I'd have done is a little bit something like this. It would have been a little bit more like, whether or not we in a Mexican standoff or I'm standing back to back with my man Hawk, we call it off. None of this is lost. I bring it all together. The red, the blue, the yellows, the others, all like Superman colors. So whether y'all are fathers and mothers or y'all are sisters and brothers, we all up in here trying to vibe from one another. Gangsta Grass, we in the house. Let's go. That's what's up, Yo. Let's get it. All right. 1, 2, 3. Wave Angels, what's up?
Well, I went on down to the corner store just to get a little bottle of pills, cause the man on the television told me there's a cure for all my ills. Well, I walked on up to the counter and I told him what I had. Now he said, you ain't got no money, you can't afford to be feeling so bad. Oh, can you spare a nickel, brother? Can you spare a dime? Need a couple more dollars now just to get me on down the line.
Talk to 'em. Hey there, how you doing, that's the folks? I tell them all the same thing, old, black, and broken. They think that's a joke, but I ain't playing. There's a whole lot of truth to what I'm saying. See, my bones crack, but I'm so pro-black, and I got so many bills, and they ain't no stack. Hey there, Kojak, sucking on your lollipop. Think I can get a ride over to the trolley stop? I just left one job trying to hit the next one, doing what I can do so I can get these checks, son. You can keep the weed and dank the mouse. I'm trying to get Bowling Green in my bank account, so I hit the studio, turn up the tempo. Gotta get paid in full rock hemp mode. Keep the game, do the knowledge. Now I gotta pay for my daughter to go to college.
When I went down to the bodega just to get a little Mountain Dew, when I opened up my wallet, there wasn't nothing but an IOU. When I told my situation, I asked him, what do you got for me? He said, I got this Knuckle Sandwich, and I'll give it to you for free. Oh, can you spare a nickel, brother? Can you spare a dime? Need a couple more dollars just to get me on down the line. Get down there.
From red dirt out the red hooks, I've been working mics since before there was a fed book. The left hook, the reason why your man got his head shook. From the PJs with the slippy, get your bread took. Concrete floors made it chilly when the sun down. Somehow we all made it out from the rundown. Papa plan to get it played for a dumb clown. Took the less traveled road, standing out amongst crowds. Old head with the fire over jit. Old heads, you can tell they a lie when they spit. Old heads are won't flex with the line in his kit. All said is really nothing if you climb with the fifth. I'm cooking cast iron in the pit. Your bread ain't really thinking all you buying is a fit. I cut it up in sections and I fry it till it's crisp. Season it a little more than required for the fix.
Well,
Come on.
I could not pay my ticket. Nope. And I could not pay my bail. Well, the judge couldn't pay me the time of day, and he thrown my ass in jail. Well, he gave me a nickel and a dime, and he placed them upon my eyes. For it costs much more to keep me here than it did to let me die. Oh, can you spare a nickel, brother? Can you spare a dime? Need a couple more dollars now just to get me on down the line. I say, can you spare a nickel, brother? Can you spare a dime? Need a couple more dollars just to get me on down the line.
Line. Not 1, 3? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Third one.
Well, Professor Bill. Well, Professor Bill, what do you have to say now?
I think you got a shot.
all the organizations that you saw, all the people that you saw up on the stage are with organizations that are in Braver Network. Braver Network, as we said, is a network of very diverse organizations, as you can see, that are committed to working with each other for civic renewal and depolarization. There are over 200 organizations in Braver Network, and we're committed to red-blue balance, so even number of reds and blues, and there's plenty of room for people who don't lean either way. And so if you're not already a part, if you're part of an organization, if you're part of anything as small as a barbershop to a big national organization, from a Republican Party to a Democratic Party, and don't get me started, join Braver Network, be part of this movement. It's a festival. This is e pluribus unum. And so invite you to join the work. We are having a special gathering during the self-organized times today at 4:30 up in room 260 of this building. There, if you're with an organization that would be interested in learning more about Braver Network, you can come to room 260 at 4:30 and learn more. If you're a part of Braver Network and you want to come meet other organizations, come to room 260. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Wilk and Erica to close this out.
This team did.